This is Lesson 5-8B from the Algebra Readiness textbook. Begin by solving the study guide problem in your notes packet independently. Once you've completed it, continue the video to compare your answer to mine. I see that A is multiplied by 5/11ths, and I learned yesterday that I can solve this by dividing by 5/11ths, which is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal, 11/5. That isolates my variable, or leaves my variable by itself. 11 times 3 is 33. 7 times 5 is 35. A is 33/35. Today's learning target is to be able to solve multi-step equations with all the different operations mixed together. What I've found is you guys do a really good job when we do all multiplying on one day, all adding on another day, all subtracting on another day, and all division on another day. Today is our time where we're going to do combined practice on all the different operations. I have a confession that your notes packet doesn't have the correct problems written down. Feel free to use each box workspace and just write in the word problem, or not the word problem, but the problem that we're working on in class on the video. Write that into your notes packet. The first problem, 3/14 J equals negative 1 2/7. Okay, you have to ask yourself, what is happening to my variable J? Well, I see that J is being multiplied by negative 3/14. The inverse is to divide. But how do you divide fractions? You multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal, negative 14/3. Now, do you see that 1 2/7, I need to convert that to an improper fraction. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 2 is 9. So negative 9/7 times negative 14/3. When I'm doing that, multiplying, I can reduce this. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 7 and 14 have a common factor of 7. Now, 3 times 2 is 6. I have a negative times a negative, which is a positive, and 1 times 1, which is 1. So J is equal to positive 6. I'd like you to pause the video and try the next one, which is like it. Come on back and then we'll practice another skill. While the video was paused, you should have multiplied both sides by 5/4. To multiply mixed numbers, you learn to change them to improper. 10 times 2 is 20. 20 plus 3 is 23/10 times 5/4. I'm going to simplify the problem before I multiply. And I'm left with 23 times 1, which is 23, 2 times 4, which is 8. 8 goes into 23 2 times, and and 5/8 remaining. Nope, that's not right. 7. My goodness. How about 7/8? 2 and 7/8. There we go. All right, here are some addition problems. Pause the video and see how well you do on these 2 addition problems. It might take you just a second longer because you'll want to jot these down in your notes packet. All right, I look at my variable h. I see that h is adding 3/4. The inverse of adding 3/4 is to subtract 3/4 from both sides. Now I need to remember my rules for subtracting fractions, and that is that they need to have a common denominator. These are rules you need to memorize. 7/8 minus 6/8 is 1/8. So H equals 1/8. The next one, I subtract 1 and 13/16 from both sides. Oh, this is going to be one of those borrow situations. 5/16 minus 3/16 is, or 13/16 is not 8/16. You must borrow. You're going to borrow 1 whole unit here and add that 1 whole unit as 16/16 to the fraction part of the number. 5 plus 16 is 21/16. So I really don't need this anymore because everything in that box is 21/16. Now 21 minus 13 I can do, and I get 8/16. 1 minus 1 is 0, and 8/16 is reduced down to positive 1/2. All right, here are some more problems, similar to what we did in our previous lesson. Why don't you pause the video and try these two, then compare your answers to mine. I look at my variable n. I see that n is multiplying by -5/9. So I come along and divide by -5/9. Well, that's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply this by -9/5. Now, n equals, these cross off. This I need to, 2 2/3, I need to write as an improper fraction. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8/3 times -9/5. I see I have some common factors between 3 and 9, so I'm going to simplify that. I have no other common factors, so I'm ready to multiply numerators. 8 times 3, or 8 times -3 is -24. 1 times 5 is 5. Now my answer is improper. 5 goes into 24 4 times, and I'm left with 4/5. My answer is -4 4/5. The next one, I'm going to start off by converting this to improper. You should have gotten 10/7 m equals 6/7. I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal to get m by itself. Again, notice here is 7/10, here is 7/10. -9/5, -9/5. The exact same amount and the exact same fraction is on both sides of that equation. Then I simplify. 6 and 10 have common factors of 2, and I'm left with 3/5. All right, I have a couple more for you to practice. These all have mixed numbers. So give these a try by converting the mixed numbers to improper first. Let's pause the video and try these on your own. Then come on back to compare your answers to mine. The first step is to convert all of my improper or my mixed numbers to improper. Then I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal on both sides to get x by itself. Then I simplify any common factors. And so 5 times 1 is 5. 4 times 1 is 4. Now I have an improper fraction for an answer, and that just won't do. 4 goes into 5 one time, and I'm left with 1/4. So my answer is 1 1/4. You should have done the same thing here. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5/3, -5/3 k. equals 6 times 4 is 24. 24 plus 1 is 25/6. I multiply both sides by the reciprocal. Make sure that you don't accidentally add both sides by 5/3. That's a negative 5/3 being multiplied by k. Then I'm ready to simplify. 3 and 6 have a common factor of 3. 5 and 25 have a common factor of 5. K equals 5 over 2, and it's negative because negative times a positive is a negative. 2 goes into 5 2 times, and I'm left with 1/2. Negative 2 and 1/2. All right, pause the video and try these last couple here, and then come back to compare your answer to mine. In this problem, I subtracted 5/8 from both sides. I'm going to rename this fraction as negative 10/16. Do you see that I have negative 3/16 minus 10/16? So really, I'm adding negative 10/16, right? Because subtracting is the same as adding the opposite. When you have both signs the same, they're both negative, I'm actually supposed to add the two numbers together and keep the answer negative. So I get negative 13/16. The last problem here, you should add 4 and 5/12 to both sides. Seven plus 5 is 12/12. 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 and 12/12. Well, this equals 1 whole. 6 plus 1 is 7. All right, I think you're ready to give this homework assignment a try. This seems like a lot because they're all separated answers, but take a look, it's right. It's the correct assignment in your notes packet.